discussing the broken deal with Iran. Rosemary, let me go back to you in Pittsburgh. Donald Trump claims, and his cronies around him, like Mike Pompeo and John Bolton, that Iran was in violation. The fact of the matter is, let me go back to you in Pittsburgh. Donald Trump claims, and his cronies around him, agreement, and it's not pointed out enough in mainstream Mike media. Pompeo. What is the significance of the fact that Iran will stay in the deal with the other signatories? Because right before we heard noises and whispers that Iran would pull out of it completely. If it stays in it, it really puts a lot of pressure on the United States. That is the odd man out in this. So that it's really flipped over. Iran was always the odd guy out. Now it's the U.S., at least when it comes to global opinion. Go ahead in Pittsburgh.
Peter, you're right. Frankly, the United States did that to isolate Iran, but the consequence of it, which also greatly depends on what Iran will do in the coming weeks and coming months. So potentially, if you will, isolate the United States. Here's what we have to keep in mind. Iran made a sound policy and sound foreign policy, particularly articulated by President Rouhani right after Trump's 2 o'clock White House briefing on Tuesday. He said, we will stay in the deal. We will try to work with the Europeans to see what's going to happen. The supreme leader of Iran, despite his pessimism, also reiterated that point. What does this mean? If Iran stays in the deal, and if Iran does that in the long run, what will happen is it will distance away the Europeans away from Washington. And that's important for Iran. Also, at the same time, let's look at the economic ramifications. The United States was trying to hit Iran in a way by getting out of the deal, but it actually really hit the Europeans. Because if the Europeans even get out of the deal, what will happen? They will get replaced by the Russians and the Chinese, as we're seeing it today on the ground in Tehran.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing on Friday? We are still here. We made another Friday. Blessings. We've actually survived another week. Next week, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not sure if we'll make it next week. Next week's looking pretty bad. Because, they're acting up in Israel and they're acting up everywhere. So having some thoughts this morning. Hey, Brother Tom is in the house. Used to work with Brother Tom. What's going on? Yeah, oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, Brother Tom, man, we used to work in some horrible industries. Welcome to the shop. Welcome to the house. We used to work for the most evil corporations on the face of the planet. Anyway, hopefully everybody's doing good this morning. Hopefully you got your coffee. I was thinking about some things. Of course, I'm already getting in trouble. Hang on, I can't see my comments. I have to move my thing to the right. Hold on, let's move it. There we go. There, everybody can see the comments. Now I'm under the crotch. I'm under the crotch. But that's okay. Sometimes in the world, in order to make it as a species and evolve, you got to be under somebody's crotch. That's just nasty. But yeah, especially in the Old West too, because they didn't bathe, they didn't shower, they didn't do none of that. Oh, it's a nasty place to be. But sometimes you got to go to nasty places to solve problems. That's what I was thinking about today. I was watching something yesterday. And was it yesterday? Today? I forget. I don't know. I'm old, y'all. So the grays, they're functional. All the grays are shooting out my face. They're real. They work. They are totally functional. So my brain does different things. I forgot it was yesterday or today. But the bottom line is this. They were saying the United States is a warrior nation. Like they were trying to, I guess, excuse things and build up this narrative of, well, we have to war because we're a warrior nation. And I was sitting here thinking, because I always like, if you say this, then I don't look at the opposite side. Sometimes it depends on what you say. I look at the opposite side, but then I want to step back from a 30,000 foot level and just look at everything you're saying. Like, are you walking me into agreeing with something and debating the other side without even looking at the big picture? So I'm going to look at the big picture. Big picture. Is the United States a warrior nation? And this applies to the UK too, because y'all come with us. I'm not sure if we're your lapdog or are you the lapdog or we the lapdog, or does that change year to year? Because I'm not really sure about that. I don't know when it comes to the UK, because France is in there too. But sometimes France isn't with the program. They're not with the trifecta. There's a couple other nations in there. We'll buy a few nations on our narratives. The United Congo republic of nowhere, population 200, and we'll send them half a gun and some bullets or something, and they'll say, we're with the coalition. But I'm not sure who the lapdog is this time. I think Israel's in there too, because it might be more like, what is a poly? What is a poly? I don't know if that's poly, octa. How many people in bed with us? Anyway, I don't know who's it. Here's the bottom line. Here's my question. Are we actually warriors, right? Because before I want to even think about, well, we're a warrior nation and war has to exist. The first question is, are we really? Hang on, my head is in the way. You can't see the brother in the back. Are we? And I was thinking back to the Old West. I love Old Westerns. But this was a time back when men were a little menish, if that's a word. And women were a little more womanish. In fact, going back before that, the indigenous people and the Native Americans were more womanish. The kids more kiddish. I think that's a word. I'm not sure. And the men were menish. But the bottom line is they were warriors, right? A warrior is someone who believes in that struggle, right? They have a code. They're there to fight for whatever reason, good or bad. It could be either way, but they're there to fight, and it's a fair fight, and it's because I'm this and I got the machismo and I got this that I can take you on. Are we that? I grew up in the outskirts of Washington, D.C. See a lot of thuggery in my days. Went to school with people from Southeast D.C. back when Rayful Edmond ran the crack cocaine game in D.C. back when the Democrats wanted to put every black person in prison on the planet. Thank you, Bill Clinton. I'm tired of getting in discussions about that. I don't know. If y'all don't really understand the crime bill, please go do your homework. I'm not discussing it no more. I'm not going through it. Oh, I'm dropping stuff on the floor. I'm not going through it no more. I'm so sick of explaining to y'all. Although yesterday I did learn something. And I'm not going to talk about Kanye West. I'm not. But somebody kept asking me questions and they pushed me into a discussion I didn't want to be in. And the scary part is, the more I actually look into what he said, because I don't follow him and I don't follow them and I don't know anything about half of these entertainers. But the more I look into it and say, well, he said bad things about Harriet Tubman. But you go and you actually don't listen to the short clip, but you actually listen to the methodical thought that this man has. Democrats, y'all need to be scared. Y'all need to be a little upset with this. Now, mind you, I think he's mentally ill. I mean, he's obviously on a lot of drugs. But if he's mentally ill and he's on a lot of drugs and he's basically saying, I don't want to use the dollar if Harriet Tubman is on the dollar because of currency and the purchase of stock and the purchase of real estate, and the problem is the dollar, the problem is currency, and that's why slavery existed, because it wasn't racism, it was just currency and monetary policy. And if he actually gets and understands how greed works, and y'all don't, why slavery existed today, and I won't talk about that. I almost got pulled into that. But I got pulled into that discussion yesterday, and the more I look into it, I don't think he's coming up with these thoughts personally. I don't think they're his thoughts, but he's listening to somebody who's got your card. That's all I'm saying. Left, he is listening to somebody that has your card. He understands colonialism and he knows you're colonizer. So I'm just saying, go listen to all the things he had to say. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that. Warriors. Are we warriors? Right? We like war, right? But why do we like war? Is it because we're warriors? Or do we like war because we're thugs? Like, I was thinking about this. So I grew up and I've spent time around these thugs, rough guys. They just like to rough and tough. And boys, we were that way anyway. You get into a fight with your brother, you fight with your friends, you roll and tumble, get lint all in your afro, rolling around, lint in your mouth, you're fighting, hitting, you're not trying to hurt each other, but you're warriors, you like to war. And I suspect, as children, a lot of us boys, a lot of girls too, We were more warriors back then than America is today, than the UK is today. I don't think they're warriors. A warrior, like this is behind me. Y'all know what this is? This is a showdown in the West. At noon, you have a dispute with another guy, another gal. I don't know, the gals do? Yeah, they did, because yeah, they did it. You had a dispute. High noon, step out there, equal fight, a fight among warriors, a fight among men. You didn't have anybody who, before the showdown, they went and they got your gun, they put a little grease in there and put some dirt in the barrel and mess with it, where they took your gun and they hid the gun, so you didn't have a gun during the showdown, but they actually took you on equally, right? Because it was the art of being a warrior, and that, you know, I can best you. Like, the idea wasn't to kill you, the idea was to best you. And that goes back to the whole French thing. Y'all remember the French thing? Somebody remember the French thing? What was the French draw? The French something showdown, Mark said, they take the glove and they smack you. I don't know. I'm having images in my head. They take a glove and they smack you. I smite this thing and smack you in the face. That means you got to have a draw. I don't know where that came from. But the point was, and the Native Americans did it do, rumble, tumble on the ground, and the Arabs did. We used to be warriors. We used to have pride in that struggle, right? That's not what we do. It's not what we do. We pick out the weakest. All right, I'm going to put it in this context. I'm putting this context. Walking on the street. Do you go up and rob the other person's about your size? Do you go up? There's a thug. Actually, a thug might. I think a thug has more honor than America and the UK and France and all the rest of the West. Because a thug will pick someone about the same size. But it's the street punk. It's the little street gutter rat, the little skinny guy that just can't fight nobody, always get beat up and pushed around. People smack him in his head, treat him like he's a little, whatever. And he finds a gun underneath, or a knife underneath a cardboard something in the middle of an alley. And he goes out and he finds the oldest lady he can find. He looks for the little kid that's walking to school with the lunch money. Can't defend themselves, don't have a military, don't have any tanks, doesn't have even a population. And he determines, who is the weakest old lady going to church I can rob? Yeah, I had to say church. Because I know. I still got one or two conservative friends who still think Donald Trump is a Christian, but that's a whole nother discussion. But they look out for the weakest little old lady singing in the choir. He can stab. And whose pocketbook is bigger? Looks to see, figure out who's got the Louis Vuitton purse. She got a lot more money. Looks like she might be paying a lot of tithes this morning. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go stick her, And is that not what we're doing? We aren't warriors. We aren't warriors. We don't, when we start with a nation, we don't say, hey, listen, Iran, I got a problem with you. I want to steal something from you. I want to come over to your land and steal your oil. I don't like you. We don't say, all right, here's a gun. Because isn't that what they used to do? They'll give you a gun. They say, okay, listen, we got to have a showdown. You talking about my mama stuff? We going to show down at noon. He'll give you one of his guns. Here, take my gun. Equal fight. Because it's a duel. We're going to decide this. Let the gods decide it. Because that's where that came from, right? We're going to let the gods decide it. That's where all of that came from. Because whoever's the strongest, God is with. And whoever's weakest, God isn't with. That's where it all came from. I know my atheist people, they don't like to fight religion. All that. That's fine. You can fight religion. I'm fine with that. I think it's funny. But that's where all this stuff came from. But that's not what we do. We're not saying, Iran, here's a missile defense unit. Here's some tanks. Damn it, here's a F-33. Is it a Raptor? I don't know what a Raptor is. I think it's a Raptor. Here's some satellite laser weapons, because y'all know we got all that stuff too. We don't say, Iran, take this. I want a fair fight. We won't let the gods decide. The Christian God is better than the Islamic God or the Muslim God. It's all the same God, but that's a whole nother discussion. All the same aliens. All right. We don't do that. We take the gutter, street rat, worst of the worst approach. And this isn't a thing about the military, right? Because the military has nothing to do with this. The military is paying their mortgage like everybody else. Unfortunately, that's the sick world we live in. But we are the gutter street punks that are picking on the weakest countries we can find with the most resources and the greatest inability to actually defend the land that they're raising their children on. That is what we do. That is why they hate us. They don't hate us because we're warriors. They don't hate us because we're free. Ain't nothing free about us. We were too free. That's my theory. My theory is if you get too free and your government doesn't want you free, you're not going to keep that freedom because you get all excited. You stop paying attention because the majority of people in America, for the world, I want to let the world in. Hey, world, is the world listening? Hey, world, are y'all listening? Hey, world, let me tell you something. World, the majority of people in the United States actually never vote. They don't vote for their government. They don't want to have anything to do with it. They live on their farms. It's just not them. It's the minority. It's always the minority. But the majority of people don't want to have anything to do with this. This is all Wall Street corporations and banks that the business class work for. So, but that's what I was thinking about this morning. I think we need to go back to maybe being men. But it's not the military. It's not the military. It's the leaders. The leaders are punks. They are gutter rats. They are the worst sort. They'll get up on TV, and I finally know who this guy John Bolton is. I didn't know who he was because, I don't watch none of this. I don't care about politics. I'm only paying attention because I'm sick of y'all killing my family all over the planet and in my country, and I'm sick of it. Y'all need to stop. So apparently John Bolton, I caught him saying, what was he saying? Oh, well, he was talking about Iran. And he said, in the summer of 2019, I'm going to give this speech from Tehran. Tehran? The hell? And this guy, he's about old. He looks like, y'all remember Back to the Future? This is the movie right here, Back to the Future. You know the old guy. What's his name? The doctor. John Bolton, this skinny, gray, falling apart. He looks like the other evil demon. What's the demon's name? The other Antichrist? The one who helped kill JFK. We're talking about him yesterday. Oh, skinny dude. They're always these little skinny, frail dudes, or these real fat, nasty guys that just, and they can't rob anybody. They can't fight. They just, girls come in, little girls. Y'all ever see the video of the little girl said fight like a girl? She's like this little girl doing martial arts. She's beating the hell out of everybody. It's like they can't even beat anybody. They can't do anything. They have no muscle strength. They have no health. We're going to do this speech from Tehran in 2019 because I'm not going to go fight nobody. It's like a pimp. I'm doing a pimp. I'm not going to fight nobody, baby. I'm not going to fight nobody. I'm going to send the American troops to go do my fighting for me because I'm a little biatch. I had to say it. I didn't say it in the cuss word. It's a B-I-A-T-A-C-H in this. I didn't cuss. I said biatch. I'm a biatch, baby. Because they're pimping out the military. That's exactly what. We're going to put the U.S. military on a strut, baby. We're going to get them to go get this for us. And I think we need to start viewing them for the pimps that they are. I think we need to start viewing them for the sucker punk, street punk, foul, dirty, stupid, ignorant people that they are. They're weak. Ever see you in the alley? They just start crying. Don't hurt me. They ever see you in the alley? These are not tough people. This is not honor, people. This is not being a warrior. This is being a biatch. That's what it is. And you're cheering like this is strong and pride and American nationalism and strong and we're proud. No, you're not. You are weak. They are scared. They are punks. And you keep, all right, I don't know. I had to go pimp voice with it. I'm just like looking at these guys like, these guys, are you kidding me? They're sending little girls at the age of 19 and 20 with guns to go fight and take land from people in other nations. That's honor to you. That's what a man with some honor does. He sends young girls to go fight for him. That's honor. who don't even have a military. That's why something on Al Jazeera the other day. Because Al Jazeera, I think they put a lot of truth in a lot of this stuff. I think they lied too, but Al Jazeera has a lot of truth in there. And they were doing a study on, the guy was doing research and he said, I knew bin Laden, right? It was a Christian guy who went and spent time with bin Laden. And it's interesting. I'm not saying that bin Laden is a good guy or bad guy. I personally don't know bin Laden. So I'm not going to chime in on a debate. I don't know Al Qaeda. I don't know ISIS, ISIL. I don't know Washington. Didn't know Obama. Don't know Bush. Don't know Trump. So I can't tell you if these are punks or these are good guys. These are bad guys or these are demons. These are angels or anything. I generally think people are just people and people do what they have to. But in general, for the most part, bin Laden kind of lived over there-ish. And America lives over here-ish. And so in general, if we have a dispute with him and we're over there, we're the one that's out of place. We're the one that's we're not supposed to be. You know, I get a hall pass in high school. I don't know if y'all have this in high school. We have high schools in the United States that are so damn big. You gotta have this thing called a hall pass because you might be out of place. It's like a prison, right? Because you gotta make sure all the little inmate, prisoner, student things are in the classrooms they're in. They can't be free. They can't go walk the hallways and figure out how to do this. They want to do science that day. They can't do science all day. They want to read all day. They can't read all day. They want to do mathematics and robotics all day. They can't do that. It's like an inmate. You got it. And we walk them from classroom to classroom with guards we call teachers. They don't have guns, but they got these things called write-ups, and they write you up, you know. And eventually it's school administrators and police. But anyway, these little prison things we call schools. And if you get caught in the hallway, you don't have a hall pass, you're out of place. You're out of order. You are the one who is going to the principal. And so I suspect if we're in bin Laden's land-ish, where he grew up-ish, and we're nowhere near America-ish, probably we're more wrong than he is wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go down that far. I'm just going to say Al Jazeera has a special about it. I don't think he's dead anyway. I think I think he worked for the CIA. I think he's in Bermuda, Aruba, somewhere real nice and fancy, little island the CIA has. They take their little buddies and they put on the island. So anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? That's what I was thinking. I think that maybe we take an honor approach to this thing. Maybe we think about it this way. Because you know, when the colonizers got here, they didn't get off the cannon ships and say, hey, indigenous, here's some guns. Let's fight. They didn't do that. Remember, they went to China and they stole it from the Chinese and they came back again, street thugs and little gutter punks looting and robbing people. And they came over here and they said, oh, we got some weapons they don't have. Look, we can do a gunfight. They got knives. We got guns. We can take what they got. And then a little sneaky. But the scary thing, let me tell you how much of a punk they are. Let me tell you how much of a punk these colonizers are. And by the way, just in case you're confused, this is not an anti-Britain thing. It's not an anti-anybody thing. Everybody does it. And everybody's economy is based on it. But we're such little not even girl, that's the wrong word. We're such little punks that we got off the boat and said, okay, well, I tell you what, hey, Native Americans, if you go kill them, I give you more guns. You having problems with them, and we play each other against each other. But this is why you got to avoid the sellout. And this is what we were talking. This is what Brother Razak was even talking about in Palestine. They always find them some little sellouts. They always find them some little sellouts to get you to support people that don't have your culture, who have no honor, to rob old ladies and take what they have, just going to church trying to pay some tithe and offering because they love people in the neighborhood. That's why. See how I connected all that together? I kind of brought it all back around. Little punks. We got to stop being punks. We got to stop selling out too. And that's what I'm not saying people sell out, but their leaders sell out, and the leaders are really good at getting other minions to follow them. That's what I'm saying. Because I was watching the whole Kanye thing now, I'm like trying to pay attention to what he says when he gets methodical and breaks it down for you. That's a funny guy. I have no idea how old he is, but he says this thing. I didn't know what he was saying. He said, let yay be yay. Let yay be. I'm like, yeah, yay be yay. Is he high? Is he drunk? What's wrong with this boy? This boy, yeah, it's because Kanye. I know y'all probably knew this. I don't know this because I don't care nothing about this. But Kanye, it's not his last name. It's probably a fake name, probably. But Ye, it's a Ye. I was like, yeah, okay, let Ye be Ye. I was going to post the other day. I was like, let roared be roared. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't have a sound. That doesn't ring. That is roared be roared. That kind of sounds like I'm just like retarded or drunk or just kind of sound like something you do on a toilet. But anyway, so, but who's here this morning? All right, that's all I'm saying. I think that we got to go and we got to become honorable people again. That's what I think this is about. I think this might be about honor. I think if you are supporting people who are going down at Ruby Ridge and Lavoy Finicum and Waco, Texas, and Yemen and Gaza and Palestine and Africa and the Congo and South Africa and poor people in the Appalachian Mountains and poor people in Venezuela and going after poor people in Washington, D.C., I think you're a punk too. I'm sorry. Oh, I think there's something wrong with our honor. I think that we got to stop being punks and stop supporting punks because they do punky stuff. We got to stop. Punky Brewster, man. Punky Brewster. Y'all remember Punky Brewster? I know. It goes back to, I'm being incongruous. I know I can still use that word, incongruous. I'm being incongruous because I'm laughing. Because to me, it's funny. It's just so silly that we actually pretend we're honorable, but we stand behind people who have absolutely no honor whatsoever. Whatsoever. You meet any of these Congress, I tell you what, any one of them, ask a Congress or a senator or the people who ain't even congressmen and senators who are like behind all of this crap, invading poor people and killing them. Ask them to stand in an alleyway with, I don't know, somebody of the same age from Gaza, just for 10 minutes. Give them 10 minutes. Just put them in an alleyway. Would you do that? I don't know, because I mean, you're puffing up your chest, Congressman. You talking war like you're putting bass in your voice. We're gonna go to war. We're gonna do this speech from Tehran in 2018. So man, you sound kind of tough. You might sound like you might be a warrior, huh? You want to go fight. You're not gonna send little girls to fight for you in the military, are you? They just want to protect and defend America. They want to defend the Constitution. They don't want to go rob somebody for you. How about you go rob? How about just 10 minutes? Can we do that? You know what? And we'll be fair too. Let's be fair, because y'all over there with the Zionists blowing off our brothers and sisters' arms and legs. How about we pick one that's only got one leg? Congressman, you can go just in an alleyway, 10 minutes, somebody from Palestine with one leg. Damn it, it can be a woman. I suspect that they will never go for it. I suspect punks don't like fair fights. Punks will never do it. Punks will never send their children to fight, and punks will never go fight. Now, I don't know. Maybe a punk might send their child to fight. But anyways, I think it's honor. I think we have an honor issue in America. And the sickest thing about it, though, is the friends I know who are in the United States military, and I'm sure in the British military as well, they are actually honorable people. They want to be honorable. They're paying a mortgage. They are warriors. They know how to fight, but they like fair fights too. These are guys who y'all remember arm wrestling? We used to do the arm wrestling. You know, it was fair. But leaders don't like fair fight. Thugs and thieves, they don't want anything fair, right? That's why when he got the knife, he's not going to look for somebody on the street who got a knife too. You know, when you got that military, you're not going to, who's got a military about my size? You're not going to do that. Because the goal isn't to be a warrior. The goal isn't to war. Hey, dance off, same thing. Somebody just type dance off, pop, exact same thing. It doesn't have to be violent. It just has to be, is it fair, right? You're having a dance off. What do? You don't go before the dance off. Oh, let me see their shoes. This is what the CIA does. We're going to have a dance off. And the CIA, all right, where their shoes at? Okay, where her shoes at? Okay, her shoes right here under the table. Okay, and they get some powder or something, make the feet itchy or something, put the powder in there. That gonna make her feet itchy. She ain't gonna be able to dance real good, you know, and they shove it back under the table. This is what the CIA does in every country. They prevent it from being a fair fight. They go and they find who, okay, we're going to change the dance contest and we're going to make sure that our dance has been danced for 20 years. This dance has been danced for 2 days. That's who we want to dance with, right? It's an unfair fight. It's a lack of honor, complete lack of honor, total, you know, but it's always the leadership. It's never the people on the lower levels. Again, I think you got warriors and I know you got warriors in the CIA. I ain't talking about y'all, by the way. Y'all break people's necks in like 2 seconds and stuff. I ain't talking about you. I know you're a warrior. I'm talking about the ones at the top, the ones who actually start all the problems, the ones who end up getting everybody killed. Anyway, who's here this morning? I'm off running my mouth. I did look at the news this morning. I don't know what we're going to talk about today. What y'all talking about? That's my analogy. I think we're punks, and I think we stopped letting them pretend that they're men and they're proud women, the few, the brave, the congressmen. I think we stopped letting them do that. I think we do. I think we call them the little scared, silly little foul gutter thug punks that they are. I think that are pimping out the American military, pimping out the CIA, pimping out the FBI, pimping out Homeland Security to whoever corporation spends the most money and gives them the most. I think we just call them the pimps that they are, baby. Little pimp, biatch. All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna say that again. I'm done. I pushed the limits on that one, but y'all, I pushed the limits. All right. Natives called it cow. What's that, Mark? Cow? Is that the word for coward? Is that the word? Because that's a good word. Is that the word for coward? Because that's what we are. We're cowards. And we stop letting people pretend that we're tough and we're honorable. We're not. Make America great again. They're not making America great again. It's just basically doing the same thing all the other presidents did. Make America act like a punk in an alleyway with a rusty knife. That's all, attacking old ladies, weak people. That's all it is. No, there's nothing great in that. It's nothing honorable in that. We just have to be honest. Be honest. Let's talk. Let's just put the truth out there. And I got one. Oh boy, I got one. He's gone this morning. I'm not even gonna say his name, but I don't even know where to begin half the time I'm talking to this brother. But who you voted for, nobody cares. Nobody with any intellect cares who you voted for, right? Like they start this crazy, stupid, silly stuff, and who you voted for makes your identity. If you voted for this person, you're a racist. If you voted for this person, you love slavery. I know, I say that sometimes. We got to get past that, all right? Doesn't matter nobody cares who you voted for. What we care about is where you stand today. And so he's like, oh, well, the Trumpers are good people, and we're Christian, and we're this. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not saying that you're not good people. I'm not saying that. This is about integrity, right? This is all about integrity. Who you voted for doesn't make that you. That's not a piece of your identity. That's crazy. That's like building up a deity. Like the whole idea we're a Trumper. An Obamite, Hillbot. Like that, do you really want them a burner? Oh, okay, we're gonna get a little personal today. When you take these people's identity and you put it upon yourself, their integrity or their lack of integrity becomes a part of you. But not only that, you're talking Christian stuff and, you're talking like this person's a deity. Like you're really talking like they're not human. Like they're holy and righteous and God talks to them and got a spear and saber and white horse. Like it gets scary. We got to get past this. I'm not saying it is, but it feels like politician worship. It feels like you're under somebody's crotch. It's right over there. See the crotch? Feel like you're a little too close to the crotch. I'm just saying, you said, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stop. I'm pull up. I don't get it. Messiah Trump. And it's just like Messiah Obama, Messiah. But I have to be honest though. Most of the people who I know who voted that way, again, they didn't worship him. They don't worship him. It was just a not Hillary vote, right? These people are good people. These people are smart people. These people aren't lost. They have integrity, and this is why we got to be talking across all these lines if we want to pull this stuff back in. Hey, Renee on YouTube. My dad says conflicts should be settled over a chessboard, not sending our youth to death. Vietnam era. Boom. Thank you, Sister Renee. Absolutely. Because that's what honorable people would do. That's what, if you had honor and you're in leadership and you had a dispute with someone, or you had dispute with another nation, you wouldn't go find poor kids in your country who signed up for the military, little girls, and go send them to fight for you. You would sit down, have a discussion. If you had the intellect, if you were an intellectual and you had the intelligence to actually work out a deal, if you had the ability to make a deal, where it's about economics, because all this is always about economics. You want somebody else's resources and, you know, and they don't want to give you the price that you want. So you want to go send other people to murder them. I think across the board, we all have to stop supporting violence across the board, all the way. You know, I don't know. I don't want to talk about him, but he say, well, you and your leftist ideas. Again, I'm not the left. I've never been on the left. I'm not on the right neither. For me, listen, I was raised by a very weird family. I know they didn't believe what they didn't believe what they taught me, but that's a whole nother discussion. This is what I took from it. If you have to solve a problem with violence, you're wrong. If you can solve a problem with intellectual discussion and negotiation, you're highly intelligent and you're honorable, perhaps more so than if you have to use violence. If you have to break the rule of aggression, you're in the wrong. There's something wrong with you. You're perhaps mentally ill. And we got to stop supporting this type of stuff, you know. But this is what, why? Let me. I'm gonna get off the standoff picture. Why? This is why I had this other picture. What are we heading for? This is where we're going. I think we have to stop because this is the future of where we're going. Hold on, I lost the comments. There we go. Our future is not bright. Our future is actually really scary and disgusting. Our future, we're not heading for a good place. If we continue along this path, it's like the whole money debate. Once again, I'll put it out there again. Somebody can tell me if I'm wrong. But money is going away. It's going away. Money won't be here. We can try to grasp onto it all we want. Let me show you something. Money gonna be here. Money gonna be here. You're gonna say, money. Money's gonna be, your retirement's gonna be here. Let me show you something. Because you have to keep going back to it. Because I think the only reason that people are still hesitant to back away from the system, to back away from supporting violent people, stupid ideas, is they think they're leaving something for their children. They actually think robots work for money. They actually think robots can't do their job. This is the latest one I found. Check this one out. Look at this. Look. Ain't no jobs. Do nothing for them. Look at this right here.
Obesity is becoming a global epidemic, and rates of type 2 diabetes are also increasing. The growing consumption of processed food is believed to be a significant factor.
We know the solution. We have to eat better, to enjoy healthy food prepared with fresh ingredients. But how do we achieve all that with our busy lives? We all love good food, but we don't have time to cook. I think we have the answer.
Uh-oh, she got the answer. I hit pause. I want to see the answer. I want to the answer. I know you're thinking the answer. Yeah, because people overweight. We eat bad food. Nobody cooks healthy. You know, we need an answer. We need technology to help us. Yeah, that's not the answer you think it is. Look at this.
Food. That's why I invented the robotic kitchen. Food is the basis of the good quality of life. You need to have a proper nutrition. My goal is to make people's life better, healthier and happier.
We launched the prototype at the world's largest automation show.
I'm gonna stop there. So this is what I'm trying to. I try to tell people this. I've worked for some of the largest corporations on the planet, and they all want to know the same answer. How do I get rid of people? They don't say it that way. They always say we need some solutions. We need to automate. We need to reduce the bottom line. We need to get rid of people. So you can't even cook for them. Y'all remember My Bell? Was it My Bell? The old cooks. They got the slave cooks. You can't even cook their damn food. This is where we're going. This is why I'm saying that we don't have time for fighting over silly, dumb stuff. No, money's not going. That robot that's cooking for them, do you think that robot gets an attitude? Do you think it gets sick? Do you think sometimes it's walking, you know, in the morning, the kid gave it an attitude and it doesn't really cook what you want it to? It doesn't want to make your steak as rare, raw as you like it. It doesn't want to, it doesn't want to go back to the grocery store and get fresh basil. It just wants to use the basil that's in the cabinet. They don't care. You don't have a job in the future, no matter what you do. This is the future of cooking. What's going to happen is people right from their smartphone going to say, what do I want for dinner? I don't know, what do y'all eat? salmon tartare. I'm a vegetarian, so I eat none of that. For me, it would be I want eggplant fricassee. I want tomato pie. I want this, and I want fresh basil, and I want it cooked this way, and I want the broccoli to stay crunchy. Don't overcook it. And you know what the computer was going to do is I'm going to find a recipe. You go on a recipe, and they're sitting at work, by the way, but the working people, it's not you. This the 3%. It's not you. 3% will have a job. The 0.01%, they're the ones who actually run everything. And the rest of that upper percentage, and how do you know if you're going to be an upper 3%? They'll be the smartest people you know. They'll be the automation engineers, the software engineers, and a few scientists, maybe some doctors, the ones who still can have some jobs. But if you're watching this broadcast, you're not one of those people. You're not, because you don't have a life. You're with us. You're poor people. Only poor people watch me. This is a poor people show, okay? You don't even get paid. The only people getting a paycheck will be that 3%. And they'll probably get paid in $100 billion. The paychecks would be something ignorant, ridiculous. Because the only reason money will be used in then is because it's for transactions between the billionaires. And the billionaires don't have $20 bills. They don't have $100 bills. There will be no money in the future. You can't even cook for them. They don't need you. But they need us. They can't get rid of us. They don't need you. Everything you can do. All they're going to do is pull up the smartphone. This is what I want for dinner. They'll go on the internet, they'll find a recipe, they'll drag drop it and put it on their house. And guess what? And they say, I want dinner at 7 o'clock. And guess what's going to happen? By the time he gets home at 7 o'clock, dinner's going to be ready. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be delicious. The recipe is going to be precisely, because they're going to use AI to do it. And it's going to be a precise stirring. It's going to be based on the optics that are actually looking at the sauce as it stirs it. It's not going to be some automated, consistent, robotic, based on an algorithm. It actually is going to be AI. That's why they got the commercials with what is it, Microsoft and Common, and always talking about AI is going to do this and it's going to do that. It's going to be fantastic. You won't have a job. You don't have a future. Your retirement is useless. Your kids can't have it unless you got $100 million in the bank. You are poor and your children have no future. Why am I talking about all of this and how does it all relate? Because if you don't understand that the whole international colonial push, after it's done with them, it's going to come for you. And you can say, oh, but that's okay because I'm pretty. I'm a girl. And they're always going to have a use for women. You know, if you're that type of person, oh, they're always going to. No, they're not. Have you seen the sex robots? I'm not going to show them. So what does this mean? This means that not only can he or she, right? Because they got sex robots for guys too. That's right. This is where this is going. They don't want you. They don't need. There is absolutely nothing you provide. She can just say, you know what? Tonight, I feel like Rico Fabio, you know, and then the robot changed into Rico Fabio. His whole body changed. The 6-pack becomes an 8-pack and other things I'm not going to mention. They don't need you. There's nothing you provide. These are sick people. They're automating everything. It's all about greed and rolling out whatever world they want to roll out where they don't have to pay you anything. You can scream Bitcoin all you want. You can scream MMT till you're blue in the face. They don't care. They don't want you. This is what greed is doing. You have to have enough foresight to look in the future beyond your little life and how things work today and think about how they're going to work for the kids 10 years down the road. When they're done with Gaza, they're coming for you. When they're done with the Congo, they're coming for you. My God, they just bombed Yemen. Did you see them? They just bombed Yemen and they killed this entire family that was in the house. I can't show the video because you can see the little kids underneath the blocks. When they're done with that, they're coming for you. Do you understand that? Is anybody picking up what I'm putting down? Like, this is how all of this works when you get behind the scariest, or we're not scary, they're punks. When you get behind punks who won't go do their own fighting, they're not warriors. They're not honorable. All they want to do is rob people and roll out a world where they don't need you so they can hoard as much of that wealth as possible. And then eventually money just goes away. This is why you have no reason to be on the left or the right. You're a human being. That's the side you're on. You are on side human, not side stupid. That's because you know what the problem is? It's like the guy, he said, you're a leftist. I'm not a leftist. The left is right about half of it, and the other half is stupid. And the right, they're right about half of it too, and the rest is stupid. And is it just by chance that all these intellectuals all got only half of the story right? Is that even possible? That's not possible. These are intellectuals. They were given these positions to stand this way because they knew it would divide up your country, those people over there, and that way nobody gets anything that they want. They played you. And they're still, if you're still screaming left, right, they're still playing you. If you're still screaming Israel, Palestine, they still played you. They set all of this up so that they think they can kill the weakest and take what they got. Get some honor. Get some honor in yourself. All of our ancestors are rolling over in their graves at the shame, at the horrible, unhonorable. What is unhonorable? Cowardly shame we all should feel for allowing this world to become what it has. We should feel total shame. But that shame can change you and it can transform you. Let me turn this off. It can transform you into becoming something greater, standing up for something greater. Let me see the comments. I'm off. Hilarious. We instructed to put cedar in our shoes to protect us from medicine. Oh, was that Teresa? I think Teresa said. I'm not sure where we're going with that. Was that medicinal, something like that? Anyway, let me keep going. The comments are moving too fast. I got to go down a little bit. Sharon, Gerard, you're a better man than I had to block that guy. Sharon. No, Sharon, don't do that. Sharon, come on, y'all. I know it's hard sometimes. You want to block people. I know. You want to delete people. I know. I do too. The only time I'll do that if it's just really, really far gone. We actually have to pull people back, sister. We only make it when we can actually have dialogue, right? Like we can't be, there's some people who don't want to listen. And unfortunately, he's not one of them, Sharon. He does kind of listen. He kind of listens. He doesn't totally listen. He kind of, you got to hit him with scripture sometimes. You got to hit him with the Christian thing. I hit him best I can. Like, you're not supposed to kill people. And I hit him right there. No, you're not supposed to kill people. What did Trump say? Timothy 2? I said, Timothy 2 ain't a book. And I'm not going to say his name. I said, no, Timothy 2 ain't a book. Nobody that goes to any church anywhere on this planet has ever said Timothy 2. If you say Timothy 2, it means you've never been in a church in your life. All right, I said, stop it. He's not the Holy Grail. But I don't like to block. I don't block people. I mean, it happens sometimes. If someone is just like so ignorant, you can't talk to them. They don't want to hear anything. They just want to fight on everything. I can't deal with somebody like that. When the thread gets down 20, like I can only really respond maybe 3 times or something. And then I want my brain to go do something else. I don't want to get bogged down because a lot of people are AI. Y'all know that, right? It's another thing they're using AI for. It's for discussions. And a lot of people are paid. They were talking about that, how the Zionists have people who are actually paid now that they pay to go argue with you on the internet. I don't want to get bogged down in that stuff. So, but as long as someone is kind of listening, like they're our family too. They're our brothers and sisters. And we really, if we want to fix things, it's going to take all of us or a vast majority of, I know people say 1.5%, 3%, 2%, some of the population. I don't know how they come up with that mathematics. All I know is the more people who are willing to listen a percentage of the time, that's somebody you can pull over. I think it's just, we have to go back to having discussions like adults, right? Like we got to go back to being able to listen to other people, understanding, and they might hit you with 38 points in a long comment, but just kind of pick out one, because you can't destroy all 38 in one. Sharon, I know something. You can't destroy all 38 in one. You destroy all 38, then they start calling you names. But just pick out one point, just kind of make one point. Well, this is this, and what do you think about this? And like we have to change how we talk to people, because for me, when I look at the kids, I think Razeg is out there. Brother, how you doing this morning? We need to have a conversation. Like he had his niece on. And his niece is so pretty. He's just this little beautiful baby. Oh my goodness. It was on his live stream from yesterday. And when you really think about it, there are children under these bombs. right? They're children. Like, your identity politics can kick in and your racism when you look at other people and you see them differently because you're I have to attack it a certain way so people understand what I'm saying. Because you're black in America and you think you're better than Africans. Because you're in America and you're a Caucasoidal kind of background, and you look at other people who look with blue eyes and blonde hair in Palestine, and you don't want to act like they're not your family. You want to act like you're better than people. If you can put that aside for anything, it has to be for the children, right? When you look at these pretty babies, these kids who they just want to grow up. They just want to grow up. That's all they want to do. They just want to grow up and become something. They want a world where the adults are adults. They want a world where the adults have honor. They want a world where the adults aren't always plotting on how to rob from their neighbor. That's what I was calling this bad deal over your neighbor's house. You know, they want, if not warriors for adults that run their world, they want adults with integrity, right? They just want to grow up. They just want opportunity. And a baby in Palestine should have no less opportunity than a baby in the UK or the United States or France. And if you actually think that a baby, because I have to hit what y'all call African Americans. I got to hit them because I think if you target the community that people see you as being a part of, then they know that you have integrity and they know that you're speaking to the truth. And so that's why I always like to do that. If you think that if you're African American, you're black in America, and you think that your children are deserving of the schools and the houses and the cars and the iPods and the video games and all of this great stuff, and the kids in the Congo who look just like your kids, and you think that, oh, well, they were born there and I shouldn't have to give up anything I had. That's where they were born. They got to figure theirs out. I figured mine out. You are one of the racist people I know. Yes, racism comes in all races. It's just a psychopathic mindset. That's all it is. And then a lot of people who actually go along with it who just aren't educated and they don't look at the big picture and they don't look at all sides of things. You lucked up and you were born somewhere. That baby was not lucky and was born in a horrible place. They were born in your neighbor's house in a time where adults actually plot to go to their neighbor, Mexico, go to their neighbor, Syria, and kill a bunch of people and steal what they have. That's who you are. Does that make any sense to anybody? Like you live in a neighborhood called Earth, and you're agreeing with the crackhead to go break the window at your neighbor's house and go inside and steal the clock radio. And you're like, yeah, let's do this. We're on the right. We're on the left. That makes sense. You know, one of my basic principles is this. I will never agree with you if you want to break the rule of force, right? The rule, what somebody post, what is it called? I always mess these words up. You have violence and you have force. Force is always authorized. If someone comes in your house and they're looking to hurt you, steal from you, force is authorized. You are authorized to repel the violence, the violator, the person who's coming in your house, in your space, who wants to violate your body. That's always authorized. Violence is never authorized. Being the violator, going in somebody else's country and taking what they have, taking their land, murdering them, shooting them, bombing them, killing them, or paying someone to do so, violence is never authorized. That is the guild of the psychopath. That is the guild of the street punk, the gutter thug. That's who you are, you know. And that's kind of my rule of thumb. So people say, oh, well, you know, we got to rally with your base. We got to bring these parties together. My first question, are you a violence-based party? Do you use your intellect and negotiation skills and love and empathy and freedom and liberty and peace to actually walk through to a discussion? Do you know the big words to have a discussion with somebody you agree with who's an adult to make sure we keep a stable earth so that kids can grow up in safe places, that everybody can keep their rights? Or are you one of the punk parties, one of the thug parties who, if they can't get their way, like a kid in a daycare, if I can't have the blocks the way I want them and stacking blocks, I'm going to knock them all down because I'm not happy. You know, that was my Chris voice. Is that a Chris Lewis voice? I think I stole that from him. You know, if you're a spoiled brat party and you resort to violence when you don't get your way, you will never have my support. You'll never have anything but me laughing at you. And where Brother Ray at? I seem incongruous because I'm laughing at all these horrible things that are happening in the world because I can't believe we live in a time where people over the age of 7 actually support any of this. I can't believe. And then they want to get me to support. I was looking at a post the other day. I know. I hope she ain't watching. I look at everybody's thread. I know. Because I want to know what everybody's thinking about. So when I got time, I'll go peek over. And it was a meme. It was a meme, whatever y'all call it. I don't know how it's called. Meme. I think it's called meme. And they had a picture of somebody. Who was it? Robert Downey Jr. had this look on his face, and it said something about they're calling me an establishment crat. My face when they call me an established crat. You know, short for Democrat and establishment. And, you know, and everybody's liking it. Ha, 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 yeah, I know they say that. And I'm just sitting here like, that's when it's not funny. That's when it's not funny. Because if you are still cheering violence and you don't realize that you're a part of the establishment that's murdering people all over this planet, if your brain is not really connecting the dots, you have no integrity and you have no honor. And I'm asking you, maybe you should. We all come from proud ancestors, all of us. Maybe you should. Maybe if we look back, we'll see that our ancestors, let me go back to the drool. Where's the dog? Where's the draw? Maybe our ancestors actually had fair fights. Maybe our ancestors wanted something better for the entire earth. Maybe they did. Maybe they handed down wise practices. All right, let me keep going. Is that when the elite will be living in the sky? Brother Chris, welcome to the house. Yeah, that's Elysium. But you know, I don't believe in that movie. I don't think that the elite are prepared. I think they got bunkers. And I think we just have out of control greed. Part of why I think people still support this is they think that there's a plan, that the 1% has a plan. And they're going to save us and they're going to get a bunker key. We're going to go live on Elysium. I don't believe that. I actually think that this is out of control greed. It's like I was talking about yesterday. You know, America's a zombie nation. Even in the UK is a zombie nation. I was watching a news thing this morning. Angela Merkel was talking about, and I didn't know this happened because I miss a lot of this. But apparently, in an amazing act of common sense, I don't know how he did it, but Trump backed us. They allowed somehow, I think the deep state wasn't watching him for a minute, and he quick signed a bill that stopped funding the white helmets. Did y'all know that? America no longer funds the white helmets. Imagine that. Why did that happen? Yes, I said something positive about Trump. I say something positive about everybody. There's a little bit of good in everybody, I think. I say positive things about Obama, too. Why did that happen? I suspect it's because y'all troll too good. That's what I suspect. I suspect the last chemical attack, when Russia put out there that this was fake, that there was no chemicals actually used, and you bombed a nation and you look like a fool because no chemicals were used, UK, France, and America. And I think because y'all trolled the hell out of everything, it became obvious. You actually made it go viral that no chemical weapons were used at all. That this is a violent act of the UK, France, and American government to try to get a war with Iran. And I think people are listening. It's insane. And so what Merkel said, they were prime minister, they were having a meeting, prime ministers get together. I don't know what they do in Britain. They get together and they talk. Y'all know they still wear the white wigs. I don't know why they do that. They do it in Africa too. They put the white wig in India. They put the white wigs on their head. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to say we got some mental illness we need to let go of. Stop praising and worshiping the colonizers. But what Merkel said was, the white helmets are doing important work, and because America backed out, we're going to have to make sure that they stay funded, something to that degree. I'm not going to show the news thing because it's getting a little late. But so she's going to keep funding the white helmets while America backs away from it, which actually is a good thing that's happening in the world, too. I mean, it's not a good thing that we backed out of the deal, the Iran deal. I try to view from both sides. It's a bad thing because... Why is it a bad thing? It's a bad thing because there's always a quiet punk narrative and agenda behind it. And the punk agenda behind it is they want to invade Iran. But the real story is, should the deal exist to begin with? Should there be an Iran nuclear deal? Should you have a deal with your neighbor? You bought a gun, right? You bought a gun, live in a neighborhood. Nobody else has guns. Very few neighbors have guns. And a gun is a nuke, by the way. And should you say, listen, I'm going to invade your house. I'm going to let your wife get raped. I'm going to rob and steal and pee on the couch and take what I want, rearrange everything, and I'm going to own your house if you try to buy a gun. Does that make any damn sense to anybody? And we own a gun. It's in our house. So you have a gun and you're holding a neighborhood hostage. Is that legal? Is that criminal? Is that ethical? Is it moral? Is it honorable? And is that not what we're doing to Iran? I don't think the deal should exist. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a perfect world where the American government's not bought and owned for by somebody else, whoever that is. Of course they'll invade. So the deal is a good thing because it's preventing an invasion to a degree. But then again, Obama, he didn't honor the deal. Trump didn't honor the deal. Iran was the only one who actually honored the deal. So I don't think the deal should begin. But this is, again, they walk us into these arguments where it's just like, no, he should have signed the deal. Instead of the real discussion of, wait a minute, what right do we have to tell a sovereign nation what to do? And I think that's the basis of a global argument as opposed to these little tribal arguments that you're a nationalist or you're a left or you're a right or you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. These little ignorant, like all of that stuff is fine. All of those categorizations are good. I'm a Christian, but the difference is my Christianity can never be used for violence to violate anybody else for anything ever. And if it ever is, it means that you don't actually believe, because all of these gods and all of these books, they always talk about love and peace, but these psychopaths convince you that the violence is okay. So I think it's okay to have an affiliation with something. But it stops when violence is put on the table. That's when it's not about having an affiliation. That's when it's about being a part of a murderous group. So let me see what else we got. Good morning. I got to go down in the comments. I missed a lot of good comments, but I have to move down. Otherwise, I miss a bunch of them. Let me see. Good morning. Patsy, diagnosis B sex robots. Yes, Patsy. They got them going. You can buy them from Japan. I know the woman does amazing things and the guy too. Any size you want, anything you want. We're moving into this world where we don't need each other. And is it a good idea to keep doing that? Like, I'm okay with technology and I love technology, but the problem is who owns the technology? Like, those sex robots aren't going to be used for anything good. Those sex robots are going to come in kid versions, right? Like, when we don't control the technology, we don't get to control the morals of how they're deployed. Corporations can't make those decisions for us. We got to make them. Let me see. Cooked food by what? How does the love get in the food? Right, Jasmine? It doesn't have to, Jasmine. They don't want love in their food. They want, when the robots do the cooking, the automated kitchen. What's the company's name? Motley, I think that makes it. You can look it up. I'll post the links. You guys can post it on your timelines and talk about it. They don't want love in their food, Jasmine. Sick psychopath who own big corporations. They have no interest in that love thing. That love is a pesky, annoying thing. Gets in the way of every damn thing. All they know is they don't want to pay you to cook for them. That's all they know. They don't want to pay you to grow their food. They don't want to pay you to work in their corporations. They just want to hoard as much as they can. And that's why our problem is always just greed. It just gets back to greed. I posted a question the other day. I said, if you owned a nation, what would you do? What would be your basis, your ultimate rule? You know, and I think a lot of people agree. I think a lot of people nailed, which is where I think we need to be going, which is there would be no money, right? If you know that greed is why all the bad things in this world happen, if you get rid of money, there is no greed. It goes away. You know, I think my first thing is, yeah, there would be no money. Everybody would have everything they need, so there would be no reason to be violent. There's no reason you need to go and rob your neighbor's house 4 o'clock radio with the crackheads or take the oil, because everybody has as much as they want. So there's no reason to be violent. When you take away people's reason to be violent, you have abundance, then nobody's violent. Then all the kids grow up the way they're supposed to. That would be step one. I think step two is we just abolish this idea of nations. We got to get rid of it. We got to go back to being the wiser creatures we used to be. When the electric grid goes down, adios. Yes, Mary. And I think they're working on that too. Like they'll have backups for backups and battery. Before they get rid of us, well, they'll make sure we make solar energy and technology work the way, and geothermal, and they probably got free energy. That robot cook will always work. Like they're not gonna let us all. And if you know for the times when they actually need someone to get their fingers dirty, again, that's what that top 3% of sellouts will be for. The majority of that top 3%, if I could break it down, that'll be left after we're all gone. You know, you'll have the people who got all the money, the 0.01%. You'll have some scientists, some doctors, some software engineers, and robotics people to keep everything running. And then the lion's share, the other 2%, will probably just be the thugs. They'll be the murderers. They'll be the killers. The ones who will take that job to be a dragoon, you know, and murder anybody that's left if they get out of line. You know, like I think that's how all of this is really going to play out, just because that's what greed would do. Nobody's at the helm. Nobody's driving the earth. There is nobody's in control of it. You know, personally, I think that whatever the gods are, aliens, microbiology, fungi, multi-dimensional, whatever it is, they're just standing back. They're obviously like, okay, you give you everything that you need. You're going to stand back. Now, are you going to listen? Are you going to love each other? Are you going to take care of each other? Are you going to group up with your psychopathic politicians and take what each other has and try to do it in our name? Like it's a part of the religious rules that we gave y'all to take care and care for each other, give them the shirt off your back, eye for an eye, and all that stuff. You know, that's what I think. I think that they'll be prepared before they get rid of us. What's that, Mary? James Corbett got censored talking about sex robots. Yeah, I won't post the video. A lot of things you can't talk about. I don't know why. A lot of this stuff is crazy. I don't even know why they're censoring half the time. Half the time, I think that it's methodical. Other times, it's just nonsensical. It's just like a power thing. Like, yeah, James Corbett, you're getting big, but we own your channel and we'll censor you when we want. Like half the time, I think it's a deep state thing where they don't want you talking about certain things. And other times, I think it's just a power play. Like, listen, I don't care how big you are, Joe Rogan. I don't care how big you are, Razeg. I don't care how big you are. We're just going to, Alex Jones, we're just going to shut you off just because we can. We're going to censor you just to remind you you're the slave, and we run everything. So I think that's part of it too. Investing in land and teach your children to grow their own food. Yes, Yvonne, that's what strong people do. We have to go back to being strong people. We got to go back to being honorable people. Good morning, Ellen. Yeah, these people talking about how do you feel about universal health care? I'm like, what the F? Do you think the oligarchs are going to give you that? Right, Ellen? Right. You always got something funny. Right? It's like we're talking about universal health care, and it's like, wait a minute. These people are trying to kill you. Like, they don't care. They look at the skies and the chemtrails and the poison in the food and the pesticides and the herbicides. They're poisoning the environment. They're pumping oil out. They're bombing kids all over. Do you think people who can murder children and bury kids under rubble in Yemen and everywhere they're doing it, do you think just this morning in Palestine, they shot a kid and he's rushed off to the hospital for walking too close to a gate? Do you think these people actually care about your health care? It's just retarded. It's like, it's stupid, the discussions people have. You know, it's not a discussion point. We've always taken care of sick people. We'll take care of them in the future when we get rid of these psychopaths that run everything. But stop cheering for the psychopath that doesn't want that. Like, it's insanity to me. Like, all of these ideas that sick, violent people actually care about poor people and healthcare and health. Like, they give you debates that they're things they'll never give you because it's just, I don't know, it keeps you busy. It's busy work. They want you discussing healthcare, so you're not discussing don't murder people. They want you discussing gun rights, so you're not discussing don't murder people. They want you discussing all of universal basic income, so they don't talk about should money exist and don't murder people, right? All shameful, absolutely. Good morning, Jennifer. It can bring out compassion and humility in a person if they have it in them, of course. Yes, love can bring out compassion and humility. Honor can bring out compassion and humility. And that's what we need. We need the humility to step back, try on other people's shoes. We need the ability to, what if we weren't born where we were, right? We need to get rid of our birth privilege and stop talking about white privilege. We need to get rid of black privilege, blue privilege, whatever privileges you need to, you feel like you should be talking about. Maybe you should be talking about the base privilege that's taking over the entire world. The people who use their birth privilege to prop up political parties and groups that are behind the most sickest maniacal street punk type governments that have ever existed that are taking over the whole world. So none of your privileges matter in the future. Maybe we need to look at the root problem and stop with the mid-tier side effect nonsense. What else we got? Good morning, Ty. Nuremberg was used as justification to help the oppressed and the marginalized. Nuremberg was used as justification to help the oppressed and the marginalized. Ty, you too smart for me. So I have to watch your video on it. I remember the Nuremberg trials. But let me see, a justification to help the oppressed and the marginalized. I always see a scam in everything. Like anytime you get all these wealthy people together, we're going to make the Germans pay. But behind the scenes, they're paying the German scientists and they're taking the technology and they're starting the Fourth Reich in our country. Like I always see, to me, it's not a conspiracy. It's just how the world works, right? Like how it always works. So I think I know what you're saying, you know, but they always, they roll out these schemes and these scams to get people to say, yeah, they're fighting for us. They're going to do the right thing. He's a deal maker. He's going to make deals. Oh, he's going to bring hope and change. And it's like, no, they work for the same boss. They're going to do the same damn thing, which is keeping you talking about stuff that completely doesn't matter. Let me move down. Good morning, Alex. Said the same thing. No love in the food, right, Alex? They don't want food. They don't want love in the food. They don't want love in the sex robot either. They don't want love in nothing. They don't care nothing about that. They're just going to roll out the things that they roll out and keep things going. Let me see. What else we got? Moving down. I'm running out of time. So last couple comments. I'm going to have to get out of here. Greed can be replaced by gluttony. There's no real solution on human nature, but yes, control of resources eliminates most of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And greed is gluttony, right? Greed is greed. Greed is greed. And that's why we say abundance, right? Like getting rid of money is like step one. Money shouldn't exist. It's just currency shouldn't exist anywhere. But then the step two is abundance, right? Like looking at what the Zeitgeist movement, Ubuntu and Joseph Peters, what everybody talks about is when you have the abundance, there's no reason for gluttony because everybody has what they need, right? They'll murder you for chicken as quickly as they'll murder you for money once they get rid of money. So it's all got to go. But we got to take care of everybody because we have the robots to do it. The sex robots can either be doing the sex or they can be cooking food, right? They can be growing food or they can be making bombs. And we have to take it all back. We have to take it all back. And the only way we take it back is we stop offending people. And that's why you'll see me half the time. If I'm not fighting the Democrats, I'm fighting the Republicans. Because in my country, these are the people that are the problem. These are the people that we need to come back to a truthful middle position. These are the people that we need to see they're being played by their leadership. These are the people that we got to talk to. It's hard sometimes. I know it gets hard, but you got to talk to them. You got to say, well, maybe I want gun control, but the person I'm talking to never actually shot anybody. Maybe they are just a good person. Maybe they do have a reason to be scared of their government that's murdering people all over the planet. I'm not scared, but maybe because I live in a different place, I don't have the fear that they have. Maybe I'll leave the whole gun control debate and I'll put it on the back burner for right now because that's not critical. That's not what's killing most people. What's killing most people is number one, malaria, which has always been the number one killer of humanity, and number two, the American government. Maybe if lives matter, we'll focus on who's killing the most people, and I'll stop going to who's killing the most people, talking about poverty and healthcare, and I'll look at why are they killing the most people? Maybe they actually don't have a solution and decision for me. Maybe they're actually playing me, you know. And so we have to spend most time with, in your country, wherever you live, again, my country is the right and the left, and getting them to come back to the human being position and getting away from these politicians' positions, because the talking points are always a lie. They don't give a crap about you. George Carlin, yes, Deborah, and he didn't say crap. That's what I'll say. But they don't. They don't. And we need that simple, basic, simple logic. If they don't care about a 3-year-old they're bombing under rubble in Yemen yesterday, then they don't care about you. And they will put your 3-year-old under rubble. The only reason they're not is because you actually were born here, and they still might think that they need your vote or they need your support while they're murdering the 3-year-olds under rubble in Yemen. Think about it. You got it, but it's about integrity and honor. Brother Walt, good morning. We are the livestock organized psychopathy. Yes, we are the livestock. We are cattle. We have the cattle ear tags, and we act like dumb cattle, and we're herded left to right, from fence to fence, talking point to talking point. Kanye West is bad. Instead of I disagree with Kanye on this, this, and this, and what he said over here, 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 those things were right. Maybe I'll do my research and I'll look at why he said what he said, and maybe he's saying slavery is a bad idea, and my Democratic leadership, they actually think slavery is a good idea, and they don't want it to change. So they made him seem like he was racist against his own skin, which is something that makes no damn sense, and I fell for it, but maybe this guy thinking for himself is onto something. Maybe he actually wants to do the right thing. Maybe he doesn't have all the information. Maybe he's not a good speaker. Maybe he has a mental illness. Maybe he does a little too many drugs. But maybe he actually has a point. And then you go back to your Democrat leadership. Why do y'all like slavery so much? Why do y'all like mass incarceration? Did y'all put millions of brown people and Hispanic people and poor whites in prisons for growing plants, man? Did y'all? Why y'all do that? Oh, because you love slavery? And that's why you want me to look at slavers back in time and instead of your slavery today, huh? Okay, that's what Kanye was saying? Yeah, I know. All right, I'm not going to talk about that no more. But I had to go. I never heard his full thing when he blew up on stage. And I had to go watch it because somebody was in a discussion telling me Kanye was this horrible racist guy. And I looked into it and I was like, no, Kanye actually has a good point. He actually is a lot less racist than your racist Democrat leadership. But you don't want to see that because you think that money's going to stick around, because you don't like a fair fight, because you like your government invading countries, because you're okay with the retirement and the opportunities you can give your children because your government's bombing and murdering 3-year-olds and leaving them under rubble. When you say it that way, I think people kind of listen a little more. But when you fight the left with the right, they don't listen. And the left fights the right with the left talking points, then they don't listen. Because all the talking points are divided up to keep people fighting, not to solve any problems. Brother Gil! I saw your comment yesterday, brother, by the way. I did see it. I saw what y'all were discussing. Brother Gil said, you lost me on the religion part. You lose the religion. I know, I do. So I have a lot of atheist friends. But that's, you know, what it is for me. I try to merge fences. I try to bring people together. Maybe it works. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. My stance on it is the minute you go and do something against somebody else, it's not religion. It's violence. It's called a violation. And no religion makes violence okay anywhere in the scriptures, not anyone that I've ever read. So for me saying I'm a Christian is like saying I got tan feet. That's what it is. It's for me. It's a personal thing. Not having anything to do with anybody else or anything else. You know, I don't push it on anybody. I take it because to me, I think religions came from the ancient people and they passed things down that were important as science and what it finds today. And for me, what I see is I actually see science and religion merging. I see it merging for people who aren't arrogant. The people who are arrogant, it's not merging. The people who actually think men wrote the book and wrote everything in the book exactly the way that this God thing said it, these people are not, well, these people, they just have that belief. All right, I'll leave it at that. And the science people, oh, the science is always right. The scientist said it, just like if a pastor or minister says it, it's just always right. And they can't ever get it wrong. It's never based on technology. It's never based on hubris. You know, to me, that's another arrogant, extreme position. I mostly relate with this whole everything merging together where they were actually both wrong, you know, and that we're discovering new things. Like I used to love to talk about it a lot. I mean, like when you look at longevity in life, the religions talked about people who live for 1,000 years. Science never agreed with that. Science, once technology is now evolved and they look at telomere science and they know that human beings actually have telomere caps on the ends of their chromosomes, that we actually were designed to live forever. You look into some of that science, you'll realize, okay, science is agreeing with religion. You know, religion got some things wrong. Nope, the earth is not square. The earth does not have 4 corners, you know, and science figured that out. So to me, I think if you have an open mind and you let, you know, one wrote down what these ancient creature things, these might be aliens, the aliens, what they said, and us discovering and the reverse engineering the world and physics and how everything works together and looking at the archaeology. So I think they merge together. So I don't fight anybody over religion or anything. I tend to have more atheist friends, though, to be honest with you, than Christian or Muslim friends. I think right now in the current status of the world, the atheists actually, they get it a little more. They have more love. They have more empathy. They have more critical thought. They're more open-minded. They're willing to look at, you know, all of these things as history books, as opposed to like something to beat somebody over the head with and make them do something because, you know. So I tend to have more atheist friends, you know, but I think a lot of my Christian friends are starting to get it. I think a lot of my Muslim friends are really starting to get it. And we're starting these lines, these cattle fencing, this livestock nonsense is coming to an end. That's kind of what I see. So I think we're going into a good place. Let me see what else we got. Last couple comments. I'm like, but hey, I saw y'all talking about that yesterday, so I figured I'd put that out there. Last couple comments from people I haven't seen, then I'm gonna go. Phyllis, good morning. Phyllis, not seeing you in a minute. Equal resources. Imagine that, Phyllis, right? Equal resources, right? Imagine if everybody had what they need. Then poor people wouldn't join nationalistic groups. Poor people wouldn't join the Bloods and the Crips and the drug cartels. Poor people wouldn't get behind this, murder somebody because of this religion and take their land or whatever. People would just be like, no, I have everything I need. I don't need to hurt anybody, and I'm not going to hurt anybody. Real simple, I think. Brother Daniel, the indigenous traditional leaders should be the world's new leaders. Yes, Brother Daniel, and I think I know you're right. I know you're right. I'm going to say I think you're right. I know you're right. Because, brother, the way I kind of see it is like we circumnavigated and populated the entire planet. And the whole purpose in doing that is so we could learn. We can figure out, let's try this kind of government, see if that works. No, that doesn't work, or it does work, and this is good. The 1% makes good sense in that. Okay, let's try another kind of government. Let's try another culture. Let's try this. Let's grow food this way. Let's try this science. Let's learn this. And I think that we all created some really great ideas, and we all created some really horrible ideas. And instead of going with one ignorant extreme of any of it, I think we look at all the cultures. You know, in terms of how the world is run, look at the most peaceful cultures, right? You know, the gifting cultures and the gifting societies, the ones that had no war, the ones that even that had wars, nobody ever died in them. They would stand a couple hundred paces from each other and throw spears, and they'd catch the spears, they hit them with shields, and almost nobody would die. Like the human beings that showed they were more sentient. The Native Americans who were more in touch with the land. They were more in touch with the environment, more in touch with nature and the love and concern of each other's neighbors, you know, and we need to adopt those ideas more than these colonized ideas. Our world governments are based in the colonizing mindset of robbing and stealing, and that's why they always do it. But that's why I always say our fixes are within, right? Our fixes are in the mirror. Our fixes are just us looking at our own wretchedness and who we support in leadership And maybe we need to look at those other cultures like the Native Americans and say, well, tell me about your culture. What did you do? How did you guys make it for thousands of years? And these colonized governments only make it a couple hundred before they get destroyed. Maybe the imperialist model doesn't work. The empire doesn't. Maybe in order to have an empire, you got to murder a whole bunch of people. Maybe murdering a whole bunch of people is a bad idea. Perhaps murdering one person is a bad idea. Perhaps supporting political parties that are okay murdering people is a bad idea. All right, keep going down, and I'm gonna get out of here. We got to get honor back, people. 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Thank you, Ellen, for saying that. And I think that's why. Everyone's trying to figure out why are all the veterans committing suicide. I think it's because we've given up on honor. They are not in positions of honor. They are in positions of being zombies and slaves to banks and corporations and other governments. And I think that's enough to make you want to kill yourself. I think when we put more honor back in our armed forces, when they actually fight for the weak, not fight the weak, then I think we get past those suicides. That's a big part of it. Everybody wants to show that love. Everybody wants to be the hero. Most people who join the armed forces, they want to be the hero. They don't want to be the street gutter thug with the rusty knife sticking grandma to steal what she has because she's weak or in Syria and doesn't have an army. They want to be a warrior. And I think that's why that 22 commits love every single day. That 22 commits suicide every day. Last couple comments. Gerard, you're doing well if you keep bringing people such as atheists and a natural. If you keep, comments keep moving. If you can bring other people such as atheists in a natural way, then in my book you are more Christian than some that believe that they have to preach it all the time. Thank you, Jennifer. And I don't know that I'm doing that. I think when we lay down our arrogance, we actually can understand what these Christ things, whatever they were, Buddha, Muhammad, all of our greats, Nikola Tesla, Einstein, all the people who just did wonderful, powerful things in our society to move us forward. When we lay down the violent aspects that we were given, then I think people are willing to have a talk. When we don't go to the arrogant extremes, like I think we have these arrogant faith-based extremes that push people away, and they're based in hate. And it's not just religion, it's science too, right? Like the vaccine hate, where all vaccines work no matter what you say, all flu shots work, they're all safe and effective. And that's a lie. We know that that's a lie. But it's a religion, right? Science hands down their own little faith-based religion to force people to say something that's really stupid and support something that's really dumb. And the religions do that too. Everything in the Bible is the word of God, and you got to force it down everybody's throat, and everything's precisely right. King James never changed anything. There are 8,000 different versions of the Bible, and they're all true, or one of them's only true. And it's just like that whole argument breaks apart. It was canonized 200 times. And I think if you're a real person, keep it real, like we talk about, keep it real. And when you really keep it real, we don't really know anything. We don't. That's why all the time I say, I think. But I don't think enough that I'm going to fight with you over it. Like I say, okay, I think Christ was real. And somebody comes to me and says, Christ wasn't real. Okay. What you want for lunch? Is somebody hungry? Let's eat. Let's have some breakfast. Let's eat. Let's fellowship, brother. Like, I don't know. I wasn't here. I have a belief system, but I actually wasn't here. So I'm not going to fight with anybody over it. I will say this, that this Christ thing said I'm supposed to love people and take care of people and listen to people. I'm supposed to eat dinner with hookers and thieves. I'm supposed to take care of them. I'm supposed to give them the shirt off my back. I know those things, and I'm going to do those things. And to me, that's what I think it is. But we have to go back to that. I don't know if we ever were there. But now that like I said, I think all of this stuff is coming together scientifically and religiously. And if we can have open minds, if we're okay to be wrong, then I think we can get to a better place. Science is always evolving, and with more knowledge, science is malleable. Yes, Galen, it is. And that's what I mean. And that's why, when you have people who are open-minded who say things like that, science is malleable. religion is malleable, right? You know, the religion is based on what people know at the time. You know, then they go dig up the Dead Sea Scrolls and they find, oh, dang it, how y'all lose 6 books? How did King James, how he just lost 6 of it? They fell out, you know, the book of Gigantus and a whole bunch of other books and stuff. And, you know, and be honest with it. You know, but if you talk to most Christians, what will they tell you? Oh, no, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they dug it up. It was exactly the same as my Bible. The King James Version, they'll say it's exactly the same as the New World Bible. It's the exact same. I don't even know the names of all of them anymore. You know, and that's not true. It's been changed. It's been altered because that's what men always do. They want to keep you in your fences. They want to hand you the talking points. They want to keep you herded around like cattle. So we just have to be honest and admit we don't know. We don't know. And the things I do know, things I think I know, it's not worth fighting with you over. Why am I fighting with you? That's stupid. You know, we have to be a little smarter than that. All right. Last couple comments and I'm out. I'm really out. Last couple comments. Consciousness of love, not a figure. Consciousness of love, not a figure. Jasmine, you're losing. Maybe I need more coffee on that one. You can only know what you've experienced for yourself. Exactly, Sharon, which is why we're so critical to each other. We are so critical. We go around and we grab experiences from all these different corners of the universe and the earth, and we learn things, and you're supposed to come back together and share them. Not fight over them like, oh, my experiences are the truth. I know every damn thing. No, you don't. You know a little piece of it. And if you're nice to other people and you don't offend them, then they'll actually tell you what they know too. You know, and so do your best to not offend people. That's what I try to do. I'm never going to tell you what to do. I do my best to not offend people. And when you don't offend people and you listen to people, they're more apt to tell you their experiences, which makes you smarter. And to me, this is a voyage of intellectuality. Is that a word? Did I just make a word up? Sometimes I make words up. It's a voyage of getting smarter. And the only way you get smarter is if people with experience talk to you. And that's what we have to do. Teachers are not the equivalent to religion. Renee, teachers are not the equivalent to religion. I think that I'm not sure where you're going with that one. I think that you can teach a religion. You can teach it in a way that's probably peaceful, and you probably can teach a religion in a way that's really, really dangerous. And we know that. I mean, just looking at the Crusades and all the murder, most of the murders being committed nowadays are being done in the name of religion. And we have to be honest with that too. So I think that there are teachers in religion, and I think you can teach religion. So I'm not sure what you're saying with that one, but I guess I don't, for the most part, Renee, I guess I don't believe these things exist. I think that, you know, like, what is a religion anyway? Some ancient people did some things and they saw some things and they drew borders around these things and said, these things are best to do. We're not going to do anything else. And that's what a religion is. And to me, I just look back and I just say, you know what? I like all information. I want to know everything. I want to know what the scientists did. I want to know what the religious people did. I want to know what the pagans did. I want to know what everybody did, what worked, what didn't work. And, you know, and all of that makes you smarter. So I'm not even sure if I believe in the borders of religion. Like, it's still a word. I'm not even sure it's a thing. I think people came before us. They told us stuff, and we probably all pick and choose which borders that we want to fit within, or if we don't want to fit within any of the borders. And we just want to study to show thyself approved. That's a scripture. I like to throw that one out there. Study to show thyself approved. And if God said that, God didn't say only study your religion. Study, and that there were secrets. In the book of Jeremiah talked about there were secrets in time that won't be revealed till further in time. Things like that are important. I like to take these scriptures and kind of throw them back at people who like to get to fighting, because they show you that we really don't know as much as we think we know. There's another one I like. I'll say this one. It's not any sort of religious thing, but I like it. It says that God blinded man in part so that the whole world could be saved. And what that was about, it was about the Jewish people, and that the analogy of the farmers in the field. You ever use this on people? Then they'll, in the religions who actually read the book, a lot of them don't read the book. It'll explain to them that you're not supposed to judge people. You're not supposed to force your religion on anybody. You're not supposed to murder anybody for your religion, and you're never supposed to be next to somebody who's trying to do that. That's satanic, right? But again, they don't like to read the book. So anyway, I don't want to go there. We went too far down to religion. That's definitely not what I don't want to talk about. We are all gods. Jesus Christ. I didn't know that Jesus Christ said that, but Deborah, we are. I think we're in religion. We're deep in religion. But I agree with what you're saying, right? Because what did Jesus Christ said the greater things I have done, you will do. And to me, that says the same thing. It means that if Christ was a God and that everybody can do greater things, it means that there's something perhaps called quantum physics. There's something that's perhaps called multi-dimensions. There's something perhaps called energy work. There's some things perhaps that we don't understand that we all can do those things, which would mean that we actually are all gods, which maybe might mean that gods actually don't exist. Maybe there's a timeline, I don't know, thing that equates what a god is. And to the Amazon jungle, we're gods now, but in the future, when they have technology, we're not gods, we're just other silly little creatures. I don't know. But I'm okay with all of it. Like, I try to keep my mind open. Individually, we can all just be aware of the garbage we produce. Yeah, and we all produce garbage. We all say garbage. We all support garbage. And when we see it's garbage, we should say it's funky and it's, we're not going to support it no more. All right. Being wrong can be the greatest gift. I'm going to leave that last comment to Sharon. Being wrong is the greatest gift. Always be wrong. Always be willing to be wrong. Because if you can be wrong, nobody can put you in a cattle fencing. Nobody can get you to fight with anybody else over something that most of us really don't know. And in 10 years, we're going to prove us wrong anyway. Always be wrong. Be okay to be wrong. It's good to be wrong. Being wrong is the only way you actually get to be smarter. That's the thing for today. Be wrong. Yes, there are bad deals. Maybe some deals shouldn't actually exist. Be wrong. It's a bad idea to rob your neighbor. Be wrong. It's a bad idea to be a street punk robbing other nations, sticking the weakest ones in the gut with a knife because you're scared and you're weak and you have no honor and you're a punk sitting in Congress or the Senate or the president. And have honor and stop supporting the people who are actually robbing the weakest on our planet. Anyway, gotta go. Happy Friday, everybody. TGIF is the day that we all support anti-slavery because you don't have to work on the weekend. I do, so it doesn't really matter. I'm in forced labor slavery. Doesn't really matter. Y'all have fun this weekend. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.